Hey everybody, so this video is going to be a little bit more somber than most of my any of my other videos will ever be. About 48 hours ago, the electric fencing, the electric gate specifically, that we have across our driveway that helps keep our dogs on this part of the property fell down while we were gone. I was the one who closed it. I thought I'd closed it good enough. Like, it didn't fall down while I was there. It must have been something that just happened over time. The connection fell or something, I'm not sure, but it fell down and our two Great Pyrenees got out. We actually left the house at about 3 o'clock and didn't get home again until about 7:30 at night, and it was already pretty much dark at that point. When we drove up, we saw the gate, half the gate like falling down very easily for a dog to get out, and my husband and I both went, oh no. And so as we're driving up, we're basically counting off dogs. And we know that the Pyrenees are the most likely to go out because Pyrenees are very good at roaming. And we're driving up the driveway and we see our female dog, Ginger. We're like, okay, Ginger's still here. Which, I mean, she was standing right by the gate when we pulled up. So she could have easily gotten out too, but she didn't. She didn't leave. And then after that, we're driving up some more. And in my head, I'm still thinking the puppy and our oldest dog, BB, still have not been accounted for. So I see Ginger. I'm like, okay, Ginger's here. We know the Pyrenees had probably already gotten out at this point. And then we see our puppy, the black Anatolian Shepherd mix that showed up at our property a few months ago. He was there. And then a little bit up closer to the camper, we see our 14-year-old Beagle mix. And so we're like, okay, three of the dogs are here. 2 of them we still haven't seen, but our Pyrenees do actually roam the property quite a bit. So let's check the property first before we fully freak out. Check the property everywhere, up and down, and no dogs. So my husband, we kind of put it out to some of our friends up here. One of our friends lives right down the road, and he actually was driving up and down the roads with JT in his own vehicle. So JT and him were both out in their vehicles driving around. Calling for Samson and Titus. And meanwhile, I'm obviously having like major guilt and like super upset because it's my fault. So needless to say, it was a rough night the other night. And we yesterday morning, we're getting ready to go to our church Bible service kind of the deal. It's more of a home church kind of thing, so we were getting ready to go to that. And I told my husband, like, I don't want to go. I want to stay home. Like, what if the dogs show up? And as he said to me, because my husband grew up with lots of dogs that roamed, and he said, Sarah, if the dogs are going to come back home, they're going to come back home, and they're just going to stay by the fence. If they can't get up to the camper specifically, they'll just stay by the fence, and they'll stay there, and they'll just hang out and wait for us to be here. And so he did, before we left, drove out a little bit more and checked. And now, mind you, the night before, I called the sheriff's department and let them know that our dogs got out and gave them our contact information should anybody call about the Pyrenees. We let all our neighbors know that we know. Our neighbors let the neighbors that they know. I put it up on a Lost Pets Facebook group for the area. Like, we did everything we could possibly do to try to put the word out that our dogs were missing. And so yesterday morning, not far from here at all, my husband finds one of our dogs, Samson, and he's perfectly fine. Just walking through somebody's front yard, and JT grabs him, shoves him in our Suburban, and brings him back home. And that was a huge relief. My thing when that happened was, that's weird because Samson and Titus are brothers. They're typically, now not on our property, they're not necessarily always together. There's a lot of times posted up at different places, but there's a reason for that. So I was kind of surprised when I didn't see them both together or hear that they're both together, but as my husband put it, one could have been in the woods and he just hadn't seen them, like the woods of the people's property. But we actually, my husband gave the gentleman that our dog was on the property with our phone number in case our other dog walked across his property. And yesterday he gave out his phone number to a whole bunch of neighbors we've never met, that are like behind us, behind the ridge, and like down the road some, and everything like that. And when I say neighbors, it's like general location. I mean, everybody here has like 40 to 80 acres, so none of us are super close to each other. But Titus still has not shown up. I did actually get a call about somebody seeing one of our dogs yesterday morning. But based on the location and the direction that they said the dog was walking, it was Samson, because they saw him walking back towards our house at about 9 a.m. and at about 9:45-ish, my husband found Samson. So we think that was probably Samson. The description they gave us sounded more like Samson anyways. So Titus is still missing. For us, it's definitely a loss. Like, you know, it's been almost 48 hours now. I know there's a possibility that he'll still show up, or we'll still be driving, because we still are driving around looking for him, you know, here and there. And, you know, everybody in the general area pretty much has our number now to call us. But so we know there's a possibility he'll still show up. We also know that there's a possibility that he's gone forever. And that hurts. Sorry, I thought I wasn't gonna cry. But the thing with this is about keeping perspective on it all. And, honestly, I just hope Titus finds a good home, if he did roam far enough to where we can't find him. Because he is 8 years old, so, Pyrenees only live to be usually about 10 to 12-ish years old, maybe 8, sometimes even 8 years old. So he's definitely an old dog for his breed. So is Samson. But, you know, we just obviously have to think the best. And so far we have not found him dead on the side of the road. So that's a huge blessing. That's a huge blessing, because that would be horrible. But something I was thinking about the other night when they were initially gone, and I've had to keep telling myself over and over again, is one, at least we have one dog back. Samson is back, and Samson does bark, and I know dogs know each other's barks. And so if for some reason Titus did get himself lost, there are a lot of woods around here, and there's a lot of people's property that are fully wooded, and obviously we can't go traipsing through everybody's properties. So if for some reason Samson did get lost, if Titus did get lost, he'll hear Samson's bark if he's in the area. Great Pyrenees barks go very far, so maybe that'll hopefully help bring him back if he is still in the area. If he's at somebody's house, hopefully they're just giving him a good home. But something I thought about this is, we moved up to Oklahoma with 4 dogs. Sorry, guys. We moved up to Oklahoma with 4 dogs, and we had the 2 Great Pyrenees, the Beagle Mix, our 14-year-old dog, and our 1.5-year-old, almost 2-year-old, like Rhodesian Ridgeback mix, our girl dog. So we came up here with 4 dogs, and right now we have 4 dogs. Because Ezra, the puppy that showed up on our property, 4 or 5 months ago now. 4 months ago, I want to say. He showed up on our property 4 months ago. And I remember when that happened, I was like, man, babe, like, I said to my husband, like, we got a lot of dogs now, like, you know, and he was this tiny little 8-week-old puppy, like, at most 8 weeks old. He was tiny. Like, when I say tiny, I mean, he's a big dog now. Like, he comes past my knees, and he's not even 6 months old yet. And he's long. He's bigger than our 1.5-year-old, like, Rhodesian Ridgeback mix. So he's a big dog. He's going to be a big dog because he's an Anatolian Shepherd mix. He is a livestock, partially at least, livestock guardian dog. And I remember when he showed up on the property, he actually showed up on the property that was having a very rough night with, you know, just all the stuff we have to still do. It can be daunting at times living on a homestead like this where you're starting from nothing. And so he came on a night when I was having a really rough night, and at first I thought it was basically just God sending him to help me through that, because here's this tiny little skinny little fluffy, super fluffy puppy that is just so adorable. He's still adorable even though he's much bigger now. But this tiny little puppy that needed me, that was super sweet, that I was clearly like his mommy and everything else. And so I thought he was like, that was his main purpose. And then of course, you know, now we have him as a wonderful dog, and he's very protective of me and the girls. So there's a lot of things that, like, I thought that he was supposed to be, like, that's what he was for. And now I'm realizing more so that it's not necessarily that's what he was supposed to be here for. Yes, that's part of it. But, like, the other night when I was walking around the property searching for Samson and Titus, Ezra was right there. Anytime I go walking anywhere, Ezra is right there, especially if I'm by myself. And he is a black dog, so he's very hard to see at night. So even with my flashlight, like, I'm looking around, I'm like, Ezra, where you at? And he's right behind me, within inches of my leg. If I stopped to walk, he would maybe sit a foot away from me. He's very protective. He's a very good dog. And I was thinking about it yesterday, too, how we came up here with 4 dogs, 2 livestock guardian dogs and 2 rescue dogs from Humane Society. And we still have 4 dogs. We still have 2 livestock guardian dogs and 2 rescue dogs from Humane Societies. And obviously, you know, I want Titus back. You know, I would love for him to be home. But God knew this was going to happen before it obviously happened. And he knew there was going to be a void in our family, especially if Titus does not return. Sorry guys about the lighting. There's like a rainbow behind me and everything. Woo! Yeah, it's okay. There we go. There's still a rainbow though. Cool. God knew that there's going to be a void in our family. In our family, in our dogs. And God knew that we were probably going to be down one livestock guardian dog, because, to be completely honest, when someone told me they saw Samson but they didn't see Titus, at that point I kind of figured Titus probably will not come back. And like I said, well, I would love for him to be back. At the same time, I have to prepare myself for the fact that he may not be. But God knew that we were going to potentially lose a livestock guardian dog, and he provided another one. He provided one that has, at least for the last 3 to 4 months, been trained by both Samson and Titus. And Titus was our alpha. Sorry, come here, baby. Sorry, my 3-year-old just showed up. Hold on, sweetie. But God provided another dog for us to fill the void that we have currently. And he did bring one dog back, at least to help continue to train Ezra. And Ezra is only 6 months old, and we knew that eventually, we knew that there's a real possibility that both our livestock guardian dogs and our Beagle mix could be dying very soon. They are older dogs. It's, it happens, but, I think it's harder when the dogs just disappear and you don't know what happens to them. Versus, oh no, the dog got old and died. At least it is for me. I don't know about anybody else. But God still provided. He still provided that. He provided Ezra when I needed the comfort. Ezra's still here now when I need the comfort. And he has been trained, like I said, for at least the last 3 months by Titus and Samson. So even with Titus being gone now, Ezra has still learned some from him and is going to continue to be trained by Samson. And so that is a blessing as well. And so while I originally thought Ezra was just brought around to comfort me in one time, I realized that he's here to comfort me during a lot more. And how it's really is beautiful how God works. And while I absolutely don't wish any of my dogs to be gone or to walk off, it is amazing how God works in this sense, and how God has really taken care of us and provided for us. And it's just it's kind of humbling in a sense too, to know how God knew all this was going to happen and how all this was going to take place, and yet we are still here with Ezra. And if you don't know, Ezra means help or helper in Hebrew. And it's from the Bible. And when Ezra showed up on our property, I knew that he needed to be named something from the Bible, because I knew he was sent by God. And Ezra just kept coming to me, and I had no idea what Ezra meant at the time. But when my husband and I Googled it, we absolutely knew Ezra was the right name, helper. And, hold on, baby. And he has been, and he will be, and he's a very, very good dog, very protective dog, more so, honestly, than any of our other dogs are, in the sense of being close by. Ginger's the most aggressive, ironically enough, and she's the female dog. She's the one that will scare the mailman, but you know, Ezra is the most protective of being there right by me and the girls at all times if we start going somewhere away from the rest of the family. So it is what it is, guys, and it sucks. It sucks so bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat that at all. Obviously, I was crying, so obviously I'm upset about it, but at the same time, this is life. This is life on a homestead. This is life when you live out in the wild, wild country. And dogs can just roam forever and no one even potentially see them because they can just walk through the woods for miles and miles and miles. But this is it, guys. You know, please keep our family in your prayers. It is, you know, like I said, hard for us to lose one of our dogs. Hopefully, like I said, maybe he will still come back, but I'm not really all that hopeful for that. Just because it has been over about 48 hours now, and there's been no signs of him whatsoever, whereas other people have seen Samson. So we'll see, guys. But keep us in our prayers. Pray for our kiddos. I know it's kind of hard on them to have a dog gone. They've been handling it better than me, though, so maybe it's just me that needs lots of prayers. But yeah, guys. So this is it, guys. Sometimes there's loss on the homestead, and you just gotta deal with it, but you gotta find God in it, too. You gotta find how God has worked to make things better and how God has provided for you regardless of what's going on. And God provided us Ezra. And so we still have 2 livestock guardian dogs and 2 Humane Society rescues. So we're still good. All right, guys. Hope you have a great day. Bye.